A pleasant day to everyone. I'm James Philip L. Sanchez, currently pursuing a Master of Arts in Education with a major in teaching English. Today, I'll be discussing the challenges in English language teaching and learning, particularly in relation to gender and development, or GAD. Let's get started. Gender and Development, or GAD, is an essential framework that examines how gender roles, stereotypes, and biases influence social structures, including education. In English language teaching, or ELT, gender-related issues affect students' learning experiences, participation, and performance. Understanding these challenges can help educators create inclusive and equitable learning environments. In ELT, gender-related issues can impact how students learn, engage, and perform in class. For example, traditional gender roles may affect students' confidence in speaking English, their access to learning materials, or the way they are treated by teachers and peers. Stereotypes in textbooks, classroom interactions, and teacher expectations can also reinforce gender imbalances. By recognizing these challenges, educators can develop teaching strategies that foster inclusive and equitable learning environments, ensuring that all students, regardless of gender, have the opportunity to thrive in language learning. Now we are going to tackle the key issues in ELT related to gender and development. The first one is gender bias in teaching materials. Many English language textbooks and teaching materials continue to reinforce gender stereotypes. Studies have found that male characters often appear in dominant professional roles, while female characters are depicted in passive or domestic settings. The underrepresentation or misrepresentation of women can limit students' perceptions of gender roles. For example, a study by Lee in 2018 analyzed English textbooks used in Asian countries and found that male characters spoke more frequently than female characters, reinforcing the idea that men have more authority in conversations. As you can see in this image, the police and the driver are drawn as male, while the nurse and the typist are female. When textbooks primarily showcase men in leadership positions and women in traditional caregiving roles, students may internalize these ideas as the norm. This can affect their aspirations, self-esteem, and even career choices. Additionally, the lack of female representation in diverse and empowered roles may make it harder for young girls to see themselves in positions of authority, leadership, or fields traditionally dominated by men. To promote gender equality in English language teaching, educators should critically examine teaching materials, include diverse and balanced representations of gender, and encourage discussions that challenge stereotypes. By doing so, they can create a more inclusive learning environment that fosters equal opportunities for all students. The second key issue in ELT related to gender and development is gendered classrooms interactions. Classroom dynamics can reflect societal gender norms affecting participation and confidence levels. Research suggests that teachers may unconsciously encourage male students to speak more in discussions, while female students are often interrupted or receive less feedback. For example, Sunderland in 2000 found that male students in ELT classrooms were given more speaking opportunities and corrective feedback than their female counterparts, potentially leading to disparities in language proficiency. Classroom interactions often mirror societal gender norms, influencing how students participate and engage in learning. Research has shown that teachers sometimes unconsciously may treat students differently based on their gender. For instance, teachers may call on male students more often or give them more time to answer, reinforcing confidence in speaking. Or, female students might be interrupted more frequently or receive less detailed feedback, which can impact their willingness to participate and their academic confidence. The third key issue in ELT related to gender and development is linguistic sexism in language use. The English language itself carries inherent gender biases. Words and phrases often default to male-centered terms. For example, the word mankind instead of humankind. And the female-specific terms are sometimes diminutive or linked to physical appearance. For example, the word actress versus the word actor. Teachers must be aware of these biases and promote gender-inclusive language. Educators play a crucial role in recognizing these biases and encouraging the use of gender-inclusive language, which avoids reinforcing outdated gender norms. For example, using they instead of he or she when the gender is unknown, or replacing fireman with firefighter can help create a more equitable and inclusive learning environment. The fourth key issue in ELT related to gender and development is impact of gender on language learning strategies. Research has shown that gender can influence language learning strategies. Studies indicate that female students are more likely to use social and metacognitive strategies, such as seeking interaction and self-monitoring, whereas male students may rely more on risk-taking and direct learning strategies. Recognizing these differences allows teachers to cater to diverse learning needs. Understanding these differences helps teachers create more inclusive and effective language lessons. By recognizing that students may have different learning preferences based on gender, educators can design teaching methods that support both social interactive learners and those who prefer a more independent, risk-taking approach. The fifth key issue in ELT related to gender and development is LGBTQ plus inclusivity in ELT. Traditional ELT materials often overlook LGBTQ plus identities, leading to exclusion and invisibility. The lack of representation of diverse gender identities can alienate students and reinforce heteronormative perspectives. Inclusive language teaching should incorporate diverse gender identities and pronoun usage to foster a more accepting learning environment. To make ELT more inclusive, educators should integrate diverse gender identities and pronoun usage into their lessons. This can involve using gender-neutral language, incorporating LGBTQ plus narratives in reading materials, and encouraging respectful discussions about gender and identity. By doing so, teachers can foster a more welcoming and accepting classroom environment where all students feel seen and valued. The sixth key issue in ELT related to gender and development is teachers' gender attitudes and biases. Teachers' implicit gender biases can affect classroom dynamics. If instructors hold traditional gender expectations, they may unconsciously favor one gender over another in assessment, encouragement, or disciplinary actions. For example, they might first encourage boys more in subjects like math and science while expecting girls to excel in reading and writing. Second, be more lenient with boys when it comes to classroom behavior, but expect girls to be more disciplined and quiet. And third, provide more leadership opportunities to male students while assigning supportive or passive roles to female students. Such biases can impact students' confidence, participation, and academic performance. To prevent this, teacher training programs should include gender sensitivity training, which helps educators recognize and address their biases. This training promotes fairness, inclusivity, and equal opportunities for all students, regardless of gender. Now let's talk about the advantages of integrating GAD in ELT. First advantage is it promotes gender equality. Of course, encouraging gender fair language and participation fosters an inclusive learning environment where both male and female students can thrive. Number two, it enhances student engagement. Balanced representation and encouragement can increase confidence and motivation in students, leading to better language acquisition. Number three, it develops critical thinking. Addressing gender issues in language learning helps students analyze and challenge societal norms, fostering critical awareness. Fourth, it improves communication skills. Encouraging gender neutral and inclusive language prepares learners for diverse communication settings in professional and social contexts. And fifth, it encourages respect and inclusivity. GAD integrated ELT helps students develop sensitivity toward gender issues, promoting respect and equality in society. If there are advantages in integrating GAD in ELT, we also have disadvantages in integrating GAD in ELT. First is there is resistance to change. So some educators and institutions may resist adopting gender inclusive teaching methods due to cultural or personal beliefs. Second, curriculum constraints. Existing curricula may not fully support gender sensitive approaches, requiring extensive revisions and training. Third, lack of teacher training. Teachers may not be adequately trained in gender inclusive language teaching, leading to ineffective implementation. Fourth, potential controversy. Discussions on gender can be sensitive, and some students or parents may oppose certain perspectives on gender and inclusivity. And fifth, material development challenges. Creating and sourcing gender balanced educational materials may require additional time, effort, and resources. In conclusion, gender and development or GAD in ELT is a crucial issue that impacts students' learning experiences, participation, and identity formation. Addressing gender biases in teaching materials, classroom interactions, and linguistic structures can lead to a more inclusive and equitable learning environment. Teachers play a vital role in promoting gender sensitivity and ensuring that all students, regardless of gender identity, have equal opportunities to succeed in language learning. Overall, this highlights that addressing gender issues in ELT is necessary for fair and effective learning. By making classrooms more inclusive, students are empowered to express themselves confidently and equitably in their language learning journey. These are my references. And this concludes my discussion on the issues in English language teaching and learning, gender and development. I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you very much and God bless.